Welcome to Getting Real with John Natale. I'm your host, John Natale, today to discuss how listings equal a great life. One of the most important things to building a sustainable business here in real estate is to build a listing-based business. You've heard it time and time again. Listings equal leverage. Listings equal opportunities. And to me, listings equal a great life as a real estate professional. Before we dive in today, I do have to take a minute to thank you for listening to this podcast. If you could take it just a step further, share this podcast with someone else that wants to grow along with you. Share it to your social media, continuing to share our message here at Getting Real, here at our Natale Companies. Our big, grand, disgustingly big mission is to redesign the real estate industry. We want less agents to fail. We want more agents to find the life of their dreams in real estate. And there's so many paths to do it, and we're discussing them time in, time again here on Getting Real in my content, whether you watch me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that we have content going out, and making sure that you feel like you are a part of this. If you want to take it a step further, if you're an agent here in New Jersey and you're looking to grow your real estate business, we have an unbelievable and dynamic real estate company. We have a studio for you to use. We have fair compensation. We have an unbelievable, just back office, everything that makes your life super smooth as an agent. So if you're looking for that, you're here in New Jersey, book a call with me below. If you're one of the other 49 other states in America, and I guess, if we're being honest, even international. However, if you're in one of those other states, we have a very rapidly growing real estate coaching business. Take all of this information that I offer out there for free and put it on steroids, times it by 10, and have it personalized for you. That's exactly what our coaching program is about. We are not here to deceive people, to, find an unfair advantage versus our competition. We are very simply here to grow sustainable businesses, create great lives, have great work-life balance, enjoy the time with our families, have a great headspace. That is what we coach on. Sometimes that means being number one in your market. Sometimes it doesn't. So the reality is what we coach on is simply creating a great life, building and growing your life, building and growing your business so you can feel good about where you are. And if you're interested in a completely free one-on-one discovery call with me, book your call below, and we will discuss what our coaching options are specific for you. Now let's dive into our listing-based business, our episode here on why listings are so important, some strategies you can go about to get them, and why you should be focused on not only doing, but focused on finding and becoming the listing agent of choice in your market. And I'm going to give you the key line I tell everybody that I coach, every agent that's here, anybody that ever asks, John, do you do more listings or do you do more buyers? And as I built a massive business, I always worked with both. However, I was very heavily active on the listing side. And the example or the statement I would always make is if I have 10 buyers, I can't sell them all in the weekend. But you know what can sell? 10 listings. You can sell 10 listings in a weekend. You can't sell 10 buyers, not by yourself. And that is the most important part and the most important thing you need to understand about listings is listings equal time. And that's why the name of this podcast is Listings Equal Great Life. If you become a great listing agent where your business is going to meet with sellers, your business is coordinating the photo, the video, all that fun stuff, putting the sign out front with your face on it, working with the seller on strategy, pricing, getting all that ready, getting the listing up, negotiating on the seller's behalf, having open houses to create more leverage, reaching out to some of the neighbors to create more listing opportunities. As many people want to come in and see that house, some will be through you, some will be through other agents, and you could build a substantially great life controlling that for many different people. We all know what it looks like to be a buyer's agent right now. And to be honest, it wasn't always that way. If I go early in my career in 2008, 2009, 2010, everybody wanted to be on the buyer's side simply because listings never sold. So you'd put money in and listings would sit there for 6, 9, 12, 18 months. We've come to the other side of things, but even in that time period, listings were still the leverage. You probably just needed a crap ton more of them. I always tell people this. As I built my business, it looks dramatically different now, even though as I phased down my production quite a bit to just stay involved in the industry so I know exactly what the issues are that agents at my company are having or agents in our coaching program are having, but it is not nearly what I was producing back in the day in the late 2010s, 2020, 2021. And the reason being, on top of just inventory transaction count falling, is the simple fact of you used to have anywhere from 5 to 15 listings active because not all of them always sold. And so to keep your listing-based business moving, you couldn't just rely on 1 or 2 or 3. So I typically had anywhere from just individually had 5 to 15 active under contract somewhere in that in those phases at all times throughout the year. Maybe in the winter it dripped a little bit lower towards 5, and then the spring, March, April, May, June, July, it was probably closer to 15 or 20. And that was how you got a substantial business because you didn't always, you couldn't just rely on the 1 or 2 that you have. But nowadays, it's really important to be a listing-based business because that's what creates the other opportunities. So we're going to talk about some of the ways in which are probably the best ways in 2024 to go after listings. And to me, I think there's 3 that really come to mind that we're going to discuss. And I think all 3, you should find what you're going to feature in your business or what you're going to proactively do and realize that that's probably the main strategy, but I would still envelope all of them in. The first strategy is typically the most basic, and I have tons of content out there. I even have an episode called Is Prospecting Dead from a couple months back. You can go check that one out for exact strategies. However, the number one way is by prospecting, actively prospecting. And you could prospect in many different ways. You can reach out to your sphere, see if they know anybody looking to sell or buy or anything, transact in real estate. That could lead to listings. The main ones that people focus on, for sale by owners, which is what I built a lot of my business on, expireds, which I built my business on as well, and circle prospecting. For sale by owners, pretty self-explanatory. Expireds/canceleds, pretty self-explanatory. Properties that came off the market. And then the last one, circle prospecting, could be used in a variety of different ways, especially when you're doing these typically over the phone. So circle prospecting could be, I have a buyer for a specific neighborhood, and I'm going to call sellers until I find potentially the right house for my buyer. That often leads to listings because you're being proactive about their area. And if you speak to the right people at the right time, there's a good chance you can get a listing out of it. There's also, if someone in your office or you yourself have a listing, calling the entire neighborhood saying, we just listed the house, when it got a bunch of contracts on it, we just got, a bunch of contracts, we have some leftover buyers. Do you know anybody thinking about selling in the neighborhood? When it closes, hey, look, did you see we closed 30,000 over? Again, we still have leftover buyers from this, still people looking. Do you know anybody thinking about selling in the neighborhood? So there's a variety of different ways you can go about prospecting, but I think all of them in tandem are really important and should be the key cog if you want more immediate business. Like if you want to have business, honestly, no matter when you listen to this, so it's going to be dropped on a Wednesday, but whenever you listen to this, in the next 14 days, if you commit to, honestly, like if we're being honest, having the right script and having some phone numbers nearby, if you called from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30, a little after noon, for 4 hours a day for the next 3 weeks, you're going to get a listing. I'm just being honest with you. If you actually sit down for 4 hours a day and do nothing in those 4 hours other than prospect and call people and have a halfway decent script, you'll find someone that's going to list their house with you. And I get it. It's a big time commitment. However, if you really need the business, like that's the quickest way to go about getting listings. The next really, really valuable tool, and it's something that we talk about in our coaching companies, at our company, it's a lot of what I do to drive our business here at our company, is through social media and becoming a big personal brand that people want to work with you. The one thing we've established with social media is it's pretty easy to pick up buyers. It's not as easy to become the expert in your market that people call to list their home. And again, I've been at this for a while now. I started in June of 2023, going very heavily into content creation to drive listings to our company. And we are now kind of starting to really see the effect of that. We've had some business coming in. We've had plenty of buyers come in. However, now as we hit the spring market here in 2024, we have people calling us for our help directly from our social media, saying, this is so cool that you are doing X, Y, and Z. We want to be a part of it and we want to list with you. So that takes some time, guys. Buyers, honestly, you could kind of pick up, maybe not right away, but buyers typically can come pretty quickly when it comes from social media. It's building that listing-based business, which we've had a couple things here and there, but now seem like almost every other day that someone's like, hey, this is what's going on. We're moving here, or we already bought here, and we're looking to sell our house. You seem like the expert. So social media could be a huge driver of that, and that's what I think everybody in this business should be gearing towards over the next few years. However, if I had to start with something today that would lead to immediate business, or else I'd be out of business, I'd be back at number one. I'd be prospecting, I'd be getting the right script, and I'd have someone hold me accountable to making my calls and getting the job done. Because if you do that, you will get business a lot sooner. Not saying a post can't go viral, you can't have someone reach out to you. That can always happen. However, building that substantial, actual personal brand does take some time, but it should be probably your secondary focus. And then the third focus kind of comes from the results of the first two. The best way, and I'm working with one of my coaching clients on this right now, the best way to get listings is from your listings. Again, why I'm so geared up about a listing-based business is real simple. Because listings do equal more opportunities. Again, you can have open houses. That leads to more buyers. Which, if we're being honest, most buyers in our market now typically have something to sell. Again, could be another listing or at least a listing referral. You got a piece of a listing without having to do the work if they're moving from a different area. So they lead to open houses. They lead to buyer showings. They lead to the ability to call, to send out postcards, to door knock, to do all these different things to the neighborhood right around the house in which you listed. And that's the power of just getting one or two listings, is you should be able to turn that into at least 3 pieces of business for each listing you have. When you're able to do open houses, showings, advertise on social media that you just listed a property, notify friends and family that you just listed a house, notify neighbors that you just listed one of their neighbors' homes. When you're able to do all these things, it brings more opportunity to you. And one of those key ways is to get some listings from the neighborhood over the next, 60, 90, or 120 days. And how do you do that? Number one way, pick up the phone and call. If that's 1A, 1B is to develop a really good and a really, precise postcard campaign or mailing campaign. If you want to spend a little bit extra for the mailers, I typically just like to send postcards, and it looks real simple. The first one is a just listed with a QR code. Hey, if you want to peek inside your neighbor's house type of thing, and here's another QR code if you want to contact us, if you want to pick out your neighbor and you know someone looking here. Once it goes under contract, which is typically the first weekend, if you price it right and you have the right marketing and it's a nice house, it's going to sell right away. When it does, hey, we had X amount of offers on it. We have buyers left over for this. Here's a QR code for your free instant equity report or instant home valuation, whatever, right to an automated thing that brings their information back to you so you can reach out to them. And then once it closes, boom, another postcard or another mailer saying, hey, we just closed X amount over asking. Here's the QR code to see how much your home is worth now that this house sold at X. And this is how you start to, if you're calling them, you're knocking on some doors, you're inviting them to a neighbors only open house, you're sending out these postcards to the neighborhood. You add in, if you have a really strong personal brand on social media, guys, it's not that hard. I'm hopeful that you're literally seeing in my excitement right now. If you're watching this, if you're just listening, hope you can hear it. This is how you build a listing-based business. It does not happen overnight. You do not become the top listing agent in your area like that. It takes years of work. But you also don't need to be the top listing agent in your area to have a great life for yourself. The truth is, in this market, depending on what your price points are and depending how much income you want to make out of real estate, you could have a few 3 to 5 listings at every time and have a highly, highly successful real estate business for yourself. You get it to 5 to 10, depending on your price point and your market, you probably have a pretty well-run team. And then it's very scalable from there. You're able to, this whole model of focusing on listings is scalable. If you focus 100% on buyers, the tough thing is your time is taken up so much by those buyers because you have to be there to show the houses. And there's no problem with that. There's an excitement, there's an energy. I love showing homes. I love helping buyers. There's nothing like handing people the keys. However, if you want a great life, great time, great work-life balance, the truth is listings are the name of the game. Listings equal leverage, listings equal opportunity, and listings truly, and honestly, guys, listings equal a great life.